Hi everyone, my name's Sophie. Welcome to this week's sequence. It's going to be a power flow with lots of fun, funky movements. So hopefully you're all going to feel incredibly energized afterwards. Okay, so we're going to start in supported bridge. So you're going to lie down on your back. So you're going to use the block. And the block is going to go underneath the flat part of the pelvis. So you've got a couple of levels you can take. This is kind of the medium level. You can always extend your legs out in front of you if that feels okay for your lower back. And then arms just hang wherever feels good. So maybe overhead, maybe just down by your sides. And just start to take some nice big deep breaths here. Gradually bringing more and more air into the body. And also gradually getting rid of more and more air from the body. So you can think of this as like a total reset for the breath, for the nervous system, for your mood, for your mind, just by breathing a little bit deeper. So at the moment we have just moved into spring. And I love the changing of seasons because I think it's such a good excuse to think of having a new start, having a new beginning, a fresh start. And so I want you to think of this practice as your way to ignite some change, to ignite a sense of transformation, whether it's just in your body or in your mind or in your life. But just kind of using the practice to move, to breathe, and to ignite some change. Okay, let's all take a big breath in through the nose. Clear it out through the mouth. Okay, start to lift your hips and just remove the block, place it to the side, and give your knees a little hug in towards your chest, rocking from side to side, circling out the lower back. Noticing how that feels in the body. And then let's bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. Rock and roll the length of your mat, so you're going to come up and down in a tight ball, tucking the chin in. Use your belly straight away to get momentum. And actually, the slower you go, the harder this will be on your core. Okay, next time you rock up, let's come to all fours. And we'll just start to move through some cat-cows. So in your cat-cows, just thinking about being intuitive. So if you want to take additional movements, then do. Think about closing your eyes and really connect with the mat. So remember, fingers want to spread nice and wide, connect through all the knuckles. Notice how the spine feels to move. Notice how it feels to breathe a little bit deeper. Good, and then just start to think about coming to a neutral spine just when you're ready. And then from here, what we're going to do is extend the right leg behind you. And I want you to draw the right knee in behind the left knee. So it like tucks in behind the left shin. Then what you're going to do is really squeeze the inner thighs and start to walk the hands in towards you and just see if you can lift. So here you are literally just balancing on that left shin. Good, I haven't done this for a while, so I'm feeling pretty wobbly. Squeeze inner thighs, try and lift the arms, lift the chest. It's going to feel like you're going to fall. Just give it a little go and smile. Good, let's come back to all fours. Come on to the other side. So left leg extends behind you and then draw left knee in behind the right knee. So it just tucks in behind the right shin. Walk your fingertips in, squeeze inner thighs, squeeze the bum, lift through the tummy. So what I love about these silly little balances, which feel really, really wobbly, is that you notice how much the entire body has to switch on in order to balance, like the tummy, the bum, the focus, the mind. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And when you're ready, come back to all fours. And then let's just tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into a downward facing dog. And then just start to walk out your down dog, if that feels good, bending one knee, then the other. Again, I want you to start to be really intuitive with your practice. So if it feels good to stay still, then just stay still here. Every day is going to feel different as well. Okay, on your next inhale, we're going to tip forwards into a plank pose. So shoulders move over the wrists. Okay, take a moment here, make sure everything's switched on. So we want to stabilize through our shoulders. So we press the mat away, so we're rounding through the upper back. Then we want to stabilize through the hips. So we think about squeezing the bum and lifting the belly up and in. Big breath in here. And then exhale, let's lower knees and then chest. Come all the way down with lots of control. Okay, once you hit the mat, arms down by your legs, palms face down to the mat, and then you're going to inhale, lift the chest, lift the head, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the arms up and away from the body. Now lift the legs as well. So notice how the whole of the back of the body has to switch on to lift. Really think about the backs of the legs, the bum, thinking chest moving forwards and up. Okay, one more big breath in. And then as you exhale, release, you're going to press back. So you lift up onto your knees, and then you're going to sit your hips to your heels, but bring your hands behind you. Then squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift through the chest, lift through the hips. Option to let your head and neck release. Breathe into the front of the body. So this is like a little variation of your camel pose. Okay, one more big breath in. Exhale, release the hips down. You're going to walk the hands forwards and come back to a downward facing dog. Okay, from your down dog, let's just bend the knees, look forwards, and just slowly walk the feet to the hands at the front of the mat and come into a ragdoll. So feet hip width distance apart, take hold of opposite elbow, and just sway the body from side to side, releasing through the back of the neck. And interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, draw the arms up and over. Breathe into the chest, let the head and neck go. Big, full deep breath. Again, if it feels good to move, maybe sway, maybe twist out the upper back, then do so. And then release the hands down to the mat. We're going to heel toe the feet together. Take an inhale, root to rise, sweep to stand. Switch the muscles of the legs on as you lift. Reach tall, and then exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back, pull the shoulders back. And then as you exhale, plant your hands, step the right foot back, then the left. Okay, we're going to lower down, your choice, knees and chest or chaturanga, but you come all the way down onto your belly. Arms down beside you, take that little locust pose. Inhale, lift. Squeeze the whole of the back of the body. And then as you exhale, you're going to press back, hips to heels, come into that little camel pose. Inhale, lift through the hips, open through the chest. And then exhale, hips back down, walk it forwards, and come back to your downward facing dog. Big, deep breaths here. So let's just think about the length of the spine to begin with. So the hips are moving up and back. Heels are softening down towards the mat. Don't worry if the heels aren't there yet. And also if you need to bend the knees, then just bend the knees. On your next exhale, we're going to bend the knees, look forward. Step the right foot first, then the left, and then inhale, lengthen, flat back. And exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep to stand. Remember, legs are active, arms are reaching tall. Exhale, let's fold all the way down, release back of the neck. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. As you exhale, plant the hands, left foot back, then the right. Lower down, your choice again, either knees and chest or chaturanga, but all the way to your belly. Inhale, you lift to that locust pose. Think about the back of the body switching on. Exhale to press it back, hips to heels. On your inhale, lift through those hips, open through the chest, that mini camel pose. And then exhale, hips to heels, walk it forwards, downward facing dog. Okay, so we're thinking about backs of the legs lengthening, the outer hips strengthening. So we want to think about the sides of the bum pulling in towards one another. And then also the thighs drawing up as well. On your next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step the left foot, then the right, and then inhale, lengthen, flat back. And exhale, fold, tuck the chin. Inhale, sweep to stand, come all the way up. Maybe a little back bend at the top. And then exhale, fold all the way down to release. We inhale, lengthen through a flat back. And then exhale, plant the hands. You can step or float back, your choice. Lowering down, your choice, but all the way to the belly. Inhale's that locust, work the back of the body to lift. Exhale, press back, hips to heels, coming into that mini camel. Inhale, lift through the hips, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, hips to heels, walk it forwards. Downward facing dog. Okay, so moving up towards the ribs, I want you to think about the ribs drawing into the body, the belly lifting as well, and the chest is just starting to gesture back towards the thighs. So there's that openness through the upper back. On your next exhale, bend the knees, look forwards, either step or float, your choice. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. And then exhale to fold. Okay, we're going to take an inhale, come to our chair pose. So I want you to bend the knees, lift the chest. 5 big breaths here. Let's switch on the muscles of the bum. Let's think about the weight being in the heels. You can have your feet together or feet apart. It's kind of what's comfortable for you and your hips. But what I want you to get that sense of is everything drawing in. So even if the legs are apart, it's as if the inner thighs are squeezing in, the knees, the shins. From our chair pose, on your next exhale, we're going to fold and release. Okay, inhale, lengthen through a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, either step or float. Normal vinyasa this time. Lowering down, big breath into a cobra or an up dog. Big breath out to a downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. Exhale, step through, spin the back heel. Take an inhale, warrior 1 to lift. Exhale, we're going to open wide to our warrior 2. Shift that back foot. And then inhale, reverse it, reach nice and tall. Exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Step back, take your time. Again, normal vinyasa. Inhale to lift. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, left leg sweeps to the sky. Exhale to step through, spin the back heel, take an inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, open it wide to your warrior 2. Inhale, reverse it, reaching it tall. Exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Step back, take your time, vinyasa. Big breath into your cobra or your up dog. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. So remember, at any time, if you want to take your child's pose, take your child's pose. Let your breath be your guide. So if you're really out of breath, find your child's pose. And then on your next exhale, we're going to bend the knees, look forwards, either step or float lightly to the front. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. And exhale to fold. Okay, inhale, chair pose. 1 big breath into your chair. Exhale, we're going to move hands to heart center. You're going to twist over to the right. Left elbow wrapping around that right thigh. Inhale, come back to a chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We twist over to the left-hand side. Good. Inhale's your chair pose. Big breath in. Exhale, fold and release. Tuck the chin. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float, vinyasa, or just straight back to a downward facing dog. Your choice. Once you're there, inhale, right leg moves to the sky. Exhale to step through, spin the back heel, take an inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, open wide, warrior 2. Don't worry if you're wobbly like me. Inhale, reverse it, reach nice and tall. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Take your time, step it back, vinyasa. Inhale, left leg sweeps to the sky. Exhale to step through, big step, spin the back heel, warrior 1. Exhale to open wide, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse it, reaching tall. And then exhale, bring both hands down, step back. Good, inhale, big breath in. Think legs active in your back bend. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Good, refueling breaths here. On your next exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Either step or float lightly to the front. Inhale, lengthen flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, chair pose, sink the weight into the heels. Exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the right. Inhale, come back to your chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, twist over to the left. Good, inhale, back to your chair pose. Exhale to fold and release. Inhale, lengthen, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float. Vinyasa or straight to your downward facing dog. Anytime you want to skip it out, just skip it out. Once you're there, inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale to step through, spin the back heel, take an inhale, warrior one. Exhale to open it wide to your warrior two. Good, inhale, reverse, reach nice and tall. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat, step back, and move through your flow. Notice the breath. Once you're there, inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale to step through, spin the back heel, take an inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open wide to your warrior two. Good, big breath in to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Take your time, move through your flow. Big breath in your back bend, legs active. Big breath out in your downward facing dog. Your choice, you can either stay here, you can take a child's pose or a puppy dog pose, or you're going to walk your feet up halfway. We're going to take a little handstand practice. So, we reach the right leg to the sky, shoulders move over the wrists, lift the left heel. Some of you will just work this and stay here and really, really press the mat away with the hands, shoulders moving towards the cheeks. I mean, that's really tough in itself without even kicking up. If you did that, just make sure you switch your legs, create that shape, bringing some weight into the hands, the shoulders, the fingertips. Good, and we will meet in a ragdoll at the front of the mat, just when you're ready. Swaying the body from side to side, catching the breath. If you've lost the breath. Okay, release the hands down to the mat, heel toe the feet together. Take an inhale, come back to our chair pose. Remember, squeezing out to hips, drawing ribs in, thinking about weight being in the heels. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center, let's twist to the right. So here, now you've got a chance to play with any variations. So maybe you open arms, maybe you think about a side crow practice, maybe you think about lifting the left elbow off the right thigh, and you keep the twist, you keep activating through the spine and the inner thighs. Okay, we're going to meet in a chair pose. It's really hard. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's twist over to the left. Right elbow wrapping round, open through the chest. Again, if you take that active twist, really trying to wrap right ribs underneath you. Squeeze in the thighs. Good. Inhale back to your chair. Exhale, fold and release. Your choice. You can take a crow pose, or you can take a seated squat. If you're taking crow, remember you can play with different variations. So if you're lifting in your crow, if you're lifting your feet, what I want you to think about doing is getting those feet up towards the bum. So squeeze, 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 feet together, heels up to the bum, keep looking forward. And then think about maybe floating back and then lifting up. Move through your vinyasa. We will meet in a downward facing dog. However you want to get there is absolutely fine. Breathe once you're in your downward facing dog. In fact, let's all take a really big breath in through the nose and clear it out. From your downward facing dog, we're going to take an inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. As you exhale, need to know, so shift the weight forwards round the upper back, get the thigh bone closer to the ribs. Inhale, move that leg up and back. Exhale, knee over to the right upper arm. Some of you might want to take that arm balance. Otherwise, get the knee high, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, we're going to meet, inhale, reaching the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee is going to go over to the left upper arm, and then either staying here, taking the arm balance, or taking your fallen triangle. So you extend that leg out to the left, and you reach the left arm to the sky. Good, open through the chest here, lift through the hips. And then let's bring that left hand down. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind again. And then exhale, step through. Keep the back heel lifted, take an inhale, high lunge. Okay, reaching tall through those arms. I want you to really energize through the feet, especially that front heel. Like the heel roots down so you can lift up. Soften the ribs back into the body, big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center, let's twist to the right. Left elbow wraps around the right thigh. Open through the chest. If you want to take variations, go for it. What I want you to think of here is trying to keep lifted rather than just dumping the weight down. So lift, lift, lift through that chest. Good. Breathe a little deeper. Can you plant that right heel a little bit more? And then we're going to meet in a high lunge. Take your time, big breath in. And then as you exhale, hands move to heart center. We're going to lean the weight forwards. Come to a warrior three. Try not to kick that back leg up. Try and move super slow. Good. Flex the back foot, kick the heel away. Now think about right outer hip, squeeze it in. Think chest moving forward. So we're lengthening all the way from the heel to the crown of the head. Okay, we're going to start to come into eagle pose. So bringing left leg on top of the right leg, left arm underneath the right arm, elbows lift up and away, sink the weight back and down. So weight is in that right heel, squeeze inner thighs. Good. Find your breath. If you want to nest your eagle, go for it. Otherwise, keep the chest lifted, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze through those legs. Okay, from here, come back to your warrior three. Taking your time, squeeze that right hip. Good, from here, both hands come down towards the mat, maybe onto blocks. We come into standing split, so those of you who want to take another handstand practice, go for it. Otherwise, maybe wrapping one hand around the shin, maybe both. I want you to really squeeze through that left butt cheek and back of the leg to lift the left leg higher. Okay, wherever you are, we're going to meet with either hands on blocks or down towards the mat. We take a big breath in to reach that left leg higher. And then as you exhale, draw left knee in behind the right knee. Bend the right knee and go as low as you can. You're like in a little squat. Okay, inhale, lift through that left leg. Reach it to the sky. Exhale, left knee tucks in behind the right. Go as low as you can. Weight in the heel. Last one, inhale to lift. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, tuck left knee in behind the right knee. Go as low as you can. Maybe you, for a moment, lift the hands off the mat. All the weight is in that right heel. Good. We're going to meet stepping back with that left foot, high lunge. Big breath in. As you exhale, open wide to your warrior two. Shift the feet. Breathe a little bit deeper. And then really connect through your feet, like you're trying to rip the mat apart with the feet, and then think inner thighs pulling up and in. That should give you that sense of lift. Okay, from here, inhale, reverse your warrior, look up towards the sky. Keep the bend in the front knee, reach a little bit taller. If you want to take your half bind, left hand wraps around and finds the right inner thigh. I've got a microphone in the way, so I can't do that. Okay, big breath in. And then exhale, come back to a warrior two. Inhale, straighten through that front leg. Exhale, reach forwards and down, Trikonasana triangle pose. So you've got different arm variations that you can play with. Maybe starting to lift that right arm to the front of the room. So you're using your obliques a little bit more. Really press down through those feet, open through the chest. You're thinking out side angle, so bend into that right knee. You can go right forearm to right thigh, left arm sweeping to the front of the room. Some of you might think about taking the hand to the inside, the right hand to the inside or the outside of that right foot. Some of you might want to bind. Wherever you go, everyone think about pulling that right hip back in space, like you're trying to tuck the right sitting bone up and under. As you open through the chest, just watch the ribs don't flare, pull them back into the body. Good, okay, from here, half moon. So we're going to find the floor, the mat, the block with the right hand, the left leg is going to lift. Reach the left arm to the sky. Maybe think about playing with Chapasana, especially if you've never done this before. So if you've never done it before, you might want to bend the right knee a little bit in order to catch hold of that left foot. So you bend the left knee, catch hold of the left foot, and then start to kick into the hand. And you don't have to take the inside of the foot like I've done. You can always take hold of the outside of the foot. And then kick, open through that chest. One of my favorite poses, this. And we're going to meet in a warrior two. So step the left foot back before you lift that right hand. Otherwise you'll feel really wobbly. Okay, inhale, reverse your warrior, look up. Exhale, let's spin both hands down to the mat. Lower the left knee. Okay, so from here, we're going to come into our low lunge. So hips move forward. You can take a pause like I did if you need to, just because your right butt cheek is on fire. And then I want you to try and lift up through the chest. Some of you are going to lean it back a little bit more. Really drive through that front foot. You might want to interlace the fingers behind the back of the head, elbows wide. That's a really nice variation for the chest. Okay, one more big breath in. Exhale, let's bring both hands down to the mat. Okay, from here, you're going to start to walk back, and I want you to actually sit on that left heel. So it's not half splits, you're literally just sitting on the left heel. This is just a silly little balance. So lift through the chest. Then what I want you to do is see if you can lift the arms and lift the right leg. You might need to keep the fingertips down, that's fine. Try not to lean back, so I know I'm leaning back a little bit, but try and keep the chest lifted. Really flex through that front foot. Good, it should feel wobbly, like we did at the beginning of the practice. It's one of those silly balances where you notice everything has to switch on. Okay, from here, see if you can lift up without placing that right foot down onto the mat. Might feel really wobbly. Good, bring the foot down when you're ready. Left hand down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, right arm to the sky. So you're in a nice open twist. Now here, really importantly, I want you to get strength in that left shoulder. So I look at my inner elbow, the crease of my inner elbow, and I actually rotate that inner elbow to face forwards. That way, my left shoulder is now pulling down the back, and I'm using my external rotation. Okay, from here we're going to start to think about side plank. So spin onto the outer edge of the left foot. See if you can step the right foot back with control. Some of you will take hold of the right foot. Lift the hips as high as you can. If you've got variations, go for it. Really think about that left shoulder pulling down the back. Then I want you to think about wild things. So you're going to step the right foot behind you, lift through the chest and reach towards the front of the mat. Really breathe into the front of the body. And then we're going to meet in a plank pose. Take your time. From your plank pose, big breath in. Exhale, Vinyasa, or straight to a downward facing dog. Okay, once you're in your down dog, we're going to bring the forearms down to the mat to play with our dolphin or our pincher. So some of you might want to walk your hands closer towards one another. So here, the position I tend to have with my hands is this. So instead of being parallel, I go closer with my hands. Some of you might just touch the thumbs. Some of you might bring the fingers together. Some of you might want to interlace the fingers or hands in prayer. But what this does is it just changes up the position of the shoulder, and it means for loads of us, it's much, much kinder on the shoulder. So this is all about a bit of experimenting. So see what feels good for your shoulders. Play with your dolphin, play with your pincher, totally up to you. I want you to think about really pressing the mat away with those forearms. Think about the armpits pressing back, shoulders away from ears. Spread the shoulder blades apart. And then when you're ready, child's pose. Big breaths in your child's pose. You can reach your arms down by your legs. You can sway the hips from side to side. Okay, meeting in a downward facing dog. So from your downward facing dog, we're going to go straight to the other side. So inhale, left leg, sweep it up and back. And then exhale, knee to nose, shift the weight forwards, round into the upper back. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to left upper arm. Some of you might want to take that arm balance. Some of you will just stay here, getting the knee high. Good, inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee over to the right upper arm. Again, you can stay here. You can take the arm balance, or you can extend that left leg out to the side. Fallen triangle. So here, I want you to think about reaching the right arm up, lifting through the hips. Again, inner elbow of the crease. The crease of the elbow faces forwards. Good, right hand down. Inhale, sweep that left leg up and back. And then as you exhale, step through, back heel stays lifted. Inhale, let's come up to a high lunge. Whew. Okay, from your high lunge, really thinking about this left heel. Dig it down so you can squeeze the left butt cheek and reach tall. Energize through the fingertips. So everything should feel completely switched on in your poses. It's not like your arms are heavy and hanging loose. Everything is active. Okay, big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's twist to the left. Right elbow wraps around that left thigh. Take your variations. Opening through the chest, Watch that back leg stays active and strong, and see if you can grow your chest up towards the sky. Good, so on your next inhale, slowly lift up to a high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart center, lean all your weight forwards. Warrior 3, try not to kick the back foot up. Kick the heel away. You can play with different arm variations. We need to think about the side of the left butt cheek pulling in, so you're not just dipping out to the left-hand side. Good, okay, we're going to come up to stand, wrapping right leg on top of the left leg, eagle pose. Right arm underneath the left arm, elbows up and away, squeeze inner thighs, squeeze outer hips. Weight into that left heel, see if you can just bend the knees a little bit more. Good, slowly unraveling, come back to your warrior 3. Keep your focus. If you fall out 100 times, does not matter, just come back in when you're ready. Good, and then hands are going to come down to the mat or to blocks for standing splits. Lift the right leg high to the sky, maybe you take a handstand practice, or just allow the chest to move down towards that left leg. If you need to bend the left knee, then bend the left knee. Okay, from here, either hands down to the mat or to blocks. Big breath in. Exhale, right knee tucks in behind the left. We're going back to that little squat. Go as low as you can. Inhale, lift. Right leg up to the sky. Exhale, tuck right knee in behind the left. Go low, squeeze the inner thighs and outer hips. Inhale to lift, last one. Exhale to pull in, come to that little squat. Pause. Some of you might be able to lift the hands off the mat. Give it a go. Breathe. Good, hands back down, and then we're going to step back to a high lunge. Reach the arms up, big breath in. Exhale, open wide, warrior 2. Shift the feet. Okay, remember, we're ripping the mat apart with our feet, and we're also energizing through those fingers so that the arms are trying to reach apart as well. Good, so chest is proud, collarbones are wide, and then we inhale to reverse our warrior. So left arm reaches up to the sky. You can take that little half bind if you like, finding your left inner thigh. Good, breathe. One more big breath in. Exhale back to a warrior 2. And then inhale, straighten the left leg. And we're going to exhale, reach forwards and down to our Trikonasana triangle pose. Back of the left hand to the inside of that left shin. If you want to take a different variation, maybe thinking about reaching that left arm towards the front of the mat. Good, breathe. Keep the sides of the body active, keep the legs active, keep the chest open. Side angle, bend into the left knee. Your choice of variation, you can go left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaching towards the front of the room. Some of you might bring one hand to the inside or the left hand into the inside or the outside of the foot. Some of you will bind. Just watch, if you've got left forearm to left thigh, don't collapse the shoulder towards the cheek, pull the left shoulder away from the ear. Good, energizing through those feet, through the hips. And then we're going to think about coming into a half moon, slowly lifting that right leg to the sky. Remember, some of you are going to stay here, and some of you are going to work Chapasana. Bend the top knee, grab hold of the top foot. Good, remember you can always bend the left knee if that helps to grab the foot. And then once you've got the foot, kick into the foot, open through the chest. Good, it's really, really nice. So it becomes a little bit of a back bend and really opening through the hips and the quad as well. Okay, from here, stepping back, warrior 2 without jumping. Take your time. Big breath in to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Okay, lower the back knee. Again, this is always the moment where I really feel my left bum cheek working. Okay, hips move forwards and down. Arms reach up. Again, we've got to press through that left heel to lift up and away from that front thigh. Open through the chest, and again, maybe interlacing the fingers to the back of the head, elbows wide. Great way to open up through that chest. Breathe. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring both hands down. From here, we're going to sink the weight back, so you're sitting on that right heel. Fingertips touch the mat, left foot lifts, maybe lift the fingers as well. Try not to lean back, try and keep the chest lifted. Find your focus. Once again, notice how much the entire body has to switch on. Inner thighs, outer hips, belly, legs. Focus, try and lift up, Left leg stays lifted. Good. Find your balance. Then step the left foot down. Okay, from here, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Right hand stays down, left arm to the sky. So come into this nice open twist. I want you to have a little look at that right inner elbow. It wants to face forwards, pulling the right shoulder down the back. Good, okay, from here, we're gonna come into a side plank. So you spin onto the outer edge of that right foot, slowly step the left foot back, lift through the hips. That shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade is still pulling down the back. Good, breathe. Lift the hips higher. And then think about your wild thing. Step the left foot behind you. Reach up and over with that left arm. Breathing, opening the chest, finding your back bend. And then we'll meet in a plank pose. Take your time. From your plank pose, big breath in. Exhale, Vinyasa, or straight to a downward facing dog. Once you're in your downward facing dog, once again, both forearms down to the mat. Possibly at the same time if you can. Possibly playing with your pincher or your dolphin. Or maybe you just come straight into a child's pose and you breathe. Good, energize through those arms, through those shoulders, like you're really pressing the mat away to get strength and lift. Whenever you're ready, child's pose. Breathe a little bit deeper. Hopefully lots of you, or all of you, will have noticed how different the body feels. How different the breath feels, the heat. Okay, coming up, we're going to come into a camel pose. So first round of camel, I want you just to bring your hands to your lower back to begin with. Squeeze the bum. Remember, press the hips forward so you actually find length through that lower back. Then some of you might catch hold of your ankles. Some of you will stay here. Wherever you go to, I want you to breathe. Breathe into the front of the body. And we're going to meet just sitting hips to heels, hands to thighs. Close the eyes for a moment and breathe. Okay, lifting up. We're going to do this little weird matrix camel thing that my amazing teacher Celeste was doing in class the other day. So firstly, I want you to bring your one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and then actually try and shorten that distance. So the hips move up towards the ribs. As soon as you do that, you should feel how the front of the body engages. Okay, from here, what I want you to do is keep this shape. So you're not going to stick the bum out and you're not going to open through the ribs. You're going to keep the front of the body really, really nice and active. Squeeze the bum, hips moving forwards, ribs in. Keep that shape. Now what I want you to do is just lean back as far as you can until you feel the body wants to change. Good, press yourself back forwards. Or press yourself forwards. Okay, coming back again. Just goes back as far as you can. Keep that engagement. And then come forwards. You should feel this in your thighs, in your belly, in your bum. Let's do one more. Come back. You might even go a tiny, tiny bit back. Good. Come forwards. And then let's come to a downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, let's bend the knees, look forward, step or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. And exhale, fold. Okay, inhale, sweep to stand, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, let's take a big step out with our left foot. So you're facing the side of the mat. Hands to hips. Firstly, do your little standing back bend. So press the hips forwards. You can bend the knees if you need. Squeeze the bum. Lift through the chest. Lean it back. And then fold forwards and down. Hands down to the mat. Those of you who want to play with an inversion here, go for it. Otherwise, the rest of you, we're just going to take an inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together and fold. Tucking the chin, releasing through the back of the neck. Breathing into the chest. Energize through those legs. Try not to just hang out. So we want some weight to be in the toes. We want to be pressing through the outer edges of the feet. Okay, those of you in your inversion, you meet us whenever you're ready. Hands are going to come down to the mat. We're going to bring the right hand just kind of out in front of you. maybe slightly off the mat. The left hand's going to take the right outer shin or outer ankle. If this is too far for you to reach, just move your feet further together. Then what I want you to do is bend the left knee. You're going to tuck the chin round the upper back and almost pull the body through the arms. When you do that, you should get a really good stretch through the left inner border shoulder blade. It's quite a kind of niche stretch, but such a good stretch. Come to center, other side. So left hand out in front, right hand takes outer left shin or ankle, bend the right knee, and then start to tuck the chin round the upper back, like you're taking a little cow pose. And really pull your arm against your leg, and then you should get that inner border right shoulder blade stretch. Good, okay. Let's release, come to center, take an inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Walk round to the left foot at the back of the mat. Lower the right knee. Your choice of lizard, so in fact, if you want to keep the back knee lifted, you can. Some of you might spin onto the outer edge of the back of the front foot and let the left knee drop out to the side, catching hold of the back foot, maybe coming down onto the right forearm, your choice. Breathing a little bit deeper here. So starting to stretch out all those muscles that we've worked a lot of strength on. Okay, coming into your full or your half splits. So shift that left foot to center, flex the left foot, and then think about the chest moving forwards and down if you're coming into half splits. Use blocks as you need to. So if you've only got one block, just place it to the inside and take hold of it. It just means that if you're struggling to take hold of the mat, like if your hands are lifted, then you've got some support. We want to feel this to the back of the left thigh. Good, okay, from here, you're going to just walk forwards, rebend that left knee. Walk round to the right as if you're going through your straddle, and then we come all the way around to the front of the mat. So we're coming into lizard pose, your variation. Some of you might think about taking hold of the back foot. Some of you going down onto forearms, using blocks. If you're taking my variation, just make sure that your hips aren't back here. That's what people tend to do. I see people in class here. If you can, move your hips forward just as much as feels comfortable, but then you'll actually get the stretch through the hips and through the thigh. Okay, starting to think about your full or your half splits. Use blocks as you need to. Shift back, flex the right foot. So we want the right leg to be active. Even though we're stretching, we still want some activation through the muscles. So we're protecting the muscles, we're protecting the knee. Okay, from here, coming forwards, we're going to step it back to a plank pose. Big breath in. Exhale, Vinyasa, or straight to a downward facing dog. Totally up to you. Once you're in your down dog, let's inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. As you exhale, pigeon pose, right knee to right wrist. Take a moment to set this up. Some of you might want to stay lifted, or some of you are going to come down onto forearms. We want to feel a really good stretch to the outer right hip, outer right thigh. I mean, some of us will feel it more than others, but you want to feel a stretch. Maybe close the eyes, take a good few deep breaths here. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start to lift up, and I want you to sink onto the right hip and swing the left leg all the way around. So you've now got right sole of the foot in towards that left thigh. Left hand is going to take the outer, or left hand is going to take the right knee. Right hand is going to actually just find a bit of your t-shirt or a bit of your leggings, just so that that right arm can relax and release. So it's not about getting really far over, reaching over. It's actually about the right arm relaxing. Then I want you to let the left ear drop to the left shoulder, and you should get a really good stretch down the right-hand side of the neck. Remember, right shoulder is released and relaxed. Head is 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 relaxed. Head Okay, from here, we're going to just start to bring that right hand behind you, come into a twist. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, look over that right shoulder. Inhale to lift, and exhale, looking over the right shoulder. Last one, big breath in, and big breath out. Okay, from here, just come to center. We're going to cross at the ankles, rock over the feet, either straight to a downward facing dog, or come through a flow, up to you. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, pigeon pose. So left knee towards the left wrist, foot over towards the right hand side, just kind of roughly wherever feels okay for your body. And you want to feel a good stretch, outer left thigh, hip, bum area. Okay, taking a good few deep breaths here. If you can, find a place where you get the stretch and then try and stay still. What we tend to do is we shuffle around because we want to move things, we want to change things. We react to feeling a little bit uncomfortable and we think, oh no, I've got to shift this, I've got to shift that. Sometimes if you just sit with it for a moment, you ease into it, you get a better stretch, and you kind of breathe into it, and it just starts to feel easier. Okay, starting to lift up. I'm going to sink onto that left hip, swing the right leg round, left foot into the right inner thigh. And then from here, we're going to take right hand to left knee, and then take your left hand behind you, catch hold of your t-shirt or your leggings, let the left shoulder completely relax, and then let your right ear go towards the right shoulder, getting a really good stretch through the left-hand side of the neck. And if you don't feel a stretch, really, really try to relax and release the left shoulder, and that will help you. Okay, lifting up. Left hand goes behind you, big breath in to lift the chest. Big breath out to twist. And again, inhale, lift. And exhale to twist. Final one, big breath in. And big breath out. Okay, from here, just come to center. This time, you're just going to release that left leg. Arms go out in front. We're going to peel the spine all the way down towards the mat. Once you get there, let's hug the knees in towards the chest and rock from side to side. Your choice of back bend, bridge, wheel, supported bridge. So I'm going to take a bridge pose. So I'm going to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. I'm going to take like a variation of my bridge that just makes it a little bit harder, just kind of thinking about these cues. So we're going to lift through the hips and squeeze the bum. What I tend to do here is interlace the fingers behind my back, squeeze the shoulders, ribs lift, and the whole of the front of the body is just open, and I'm not using my abdominals at all. So what I'm going to think about doing is actually drawing the ribs back into the body. Really is starting to get the tummy working. I want to squeeze the bum. Think about tractioning the heels back to the shoulders, and then I'm actually going to bring my hands just crossed over my chest so that my arms can't support me. So ribs are in, but hips are lifting high. So I'm really thinking about squeezing the bum. Inner thighs active, heels drawing back towards my shoulders. Good, couple more breaths, ribs in. Good, and then just start to release down. When you're ready, if you've taken another variation, just meet us hugging the knees towards the chest. And then you can take a happy baby if that feels good for you, so taking hold of the outside edges of the feet. Sometimes, some of you will be here, outside edges of the ankles, that's absolutely fine. Often this actually feels better for my body. A little bit of less kind of compression through the hip joint. Ending in a twist, so dropping the knees over to the right, head over to the left, arms into a wide T. Breathe the length of your spine. And then let's come back to center, knees into towards the chest, and then over to the left, head over to the right. Coming back to center. Give yourself a final squeeze, big breath in through the nose. Clear it out through the mouth. Shavasana, release your arms, release your legs. Taking a moment to find some peace, find some stillness. If you can, I'd love you to stay here a little longer. Otherwise, just start to wiggle your fingers and toes. You're short for time, you're going to start to draw your knees towards your chest. And then coming up to seated, keeping eyes closed, drawing hands towards the heart. And we'll end with a big breath together. So inhaling through the nose fully and deeply. Open mouth, release. Namaste, everyone. I so appreciate you joining me for my power flow. Don't know about you, but my butt is now a little bit sore. I hope to see you guys soon. Please do get in contact if you have any questions, any ideas, any thoughts. I love hearing from you, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.